welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go a story titled, My Wife, a 31-year-old female, confessed to an affair last year that went on throughout her pregnancy and beyond. Yesterday, I found out they're still in contact. How can I move on from this? And shout out to Chris for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy. He's 34. I'm not sure how long he's been married, but obviously long enough. That found out recently through a confession from his wife that she was having an affair for 2 years while she was pregnant. So meaning that when she was pregnant, supposedly with this guy's baby, this guy was doing the dirty deed with her with the baby inside of him. I mean, talk about terrible. And this guy is really falling apart by this whole thing. And while on the one hand you can feel bad for him, on the other hand it's like, dude, you're not helping your situation with the way he handles things. However, you're going to see eventually he's going to start to really realize that, yeah, you know what, this isn't going to work. That'll be a good one to go over here, guys, as a lesson that this type of thing happens. You must always pay attention to red flags, because I think this guy really thought he had himself a great gal, like he got himself the great catch. You know, I got the pretty girl, yes. I mean, well, the pretty girl settled for him. And if you see suspicious behavior, you got to investigate. And if you find out things like this is going on, you need to end the marriage. And you're going to see in this situation, this guy doesn't realize that he has a lot of leverage, but he just doesn't want to accept that right now. And a guy has a lot of leverage when the wife makes more money than him. Or the guy that's cheating on with the wife has a lot of money too. Alienation of affection, amongst many other things. So I'd be going to go over here, guys, to show you this type of thing happens. We got some crazy here with this guy doing his wife while she was pregnant. That's disgusting. And of course, you know, what not to do in a situation. I'd be going to go over here. He says, as the title says, my wife confessed having a 2-year-long affair. She was very blasé about it and managed to archive her WhatsApp and had all their texts. 2 years? That's a long freaking time. But it gets worse. The story may be long, but it's all over the place. My head is in a riot right now, so apologies for that. I read through everything I could stomach. We didn't have the best relationship, but I thought everyone had ups and downs. Well, all relationships and marriages have ups and downs. That's just how people decide to handle those ups and downs. We went through several IVF treatments and eventually got pregnant. Got pregnant? Smack! She got pregnant, Mr. Political Correctness, not you. Her affair started when she was 3 months pregnant. From what I gather, it went physical pretty quickly, and she was infatuated with him. She left from doctor checkups, and we were both at, and literally went to see him straight from there while I went back to work. She is cheating, having a full-blown affair while she's pregnant. How do you know this actually isn't his kid, right? She worked in the city an hour away, and so does he. They met while getting lunch one day. He also stays very close to us from what I can work out. Her job has hours between clients, so to save us all the driving, she would just stay in the city and wait for the next one. I'm not exactly sure what he does, something in software, but whatever it is, he has a ton of downtime. Well, I don't care what he does. All I know is what he's doing is doing your wife. And it's time to end the marriage. So they spent hours with each other 4 to 5 days a week. Sometimes more than this when they were not working at a spot 5 minutes from our home. She took holidays at work to spend the whole day with him. Got dolled up, went out for lunch, went to the cinema. This poor guy. But you know what? I mean, there had to have been signs. Unless this guy really just didn't want to see it, you know? Some guys just have their heads so far up their butts or their heads in the sand, they don't know what's going on. They took liberties with the advantage of already being pregnant. Seemingly just done things to this guy that I had asked her to do freely without issue. Told him she loved him, doing them with him. Hear that? Done things with this guy that I asked her to do. Translation, this guy, her husband, got the bare minimum in the bedroom. But the guy she's infatuated with, her lover for 2 years, got everything. There you go. My perfect example how women will settle with guys they really don't. Oftentimes, not all, but a lot will settle with guys to marry because they just want to get married. They want to have they want to have the wedding, not the marriage. And that guy gets the bare minimum because their attraction for him is like next to nothing. Meanwhile, the guys they really like, pretty much the sky's the limit in the bedroom, and you guys can use your imagination. She had things she wanted to try. I had things I wanted her to do, and in the end, neither of them would ever happen anyway. She tried everything she wanted to try with him. She sent him pictures all the time, and videos, which she had never done with me. I felt like I just didn't know her at all. Well, you didn't know her. She presented someone that you thought that you were married to, but this is the real her. And I'm sorry that you're going through this, and I'm sorry he discovered all this through on her phone and the WhatsApp and all that. He felt my son kicking when she was heavily pregnant. They were still having SCX at this stage, but eventually got too awkward, and she apologized for not being able to run up the giving birth. But she could service him in other ways. Yeah, so she stopped doing it in one area, but she's still servicing other ways. You can imagine that. He was on the mass text list when my son was born. She texted him all the way up to an hour or two before giving birth. Text him as when she could give after the birth, when she could after the birth, and was still in the hospital. Imagine this: you're finding this out that this guy's happy because his son is being born, and meanwhile she's still texting this guy while she's in the waiting to give birth, that type of thing. She drove to meet him with our baby in the car weeks after he was born, up until he started the nursery. Then normal services resumed. I hope to God nothing happened with my son in the car. It doesn't look like it did. Is he trying to say that she go drive to see the guy, leave the son in the car while she's doing him in the house? Talk about child endangerment here. Or at least brought the son along to be, in the crib while she was in the back room doing something with that guy. This woman is a piece of shit. It's like, for God's sakes, why don't you just end the marriage with this guy? My wife pursued a lot of this. He didn't really seem sexually motivated at all, and my wife actually said that that was one of the reasons she really liked him. Translation: this guy wasn't chasing after her, he was indifferent with her. Therefore, she was then, of course, attracted to him, was chasing after him. So we went to therapy, and after a few sessions, the therapist told me that the way I treated her could be labeled abuse. What? What has this guy done that could be labeled abuse, that could justify her doing those things? And if this guy actually was doing something that universally would be agreed as abuse, then why is she still with him? It sounds like he's got one of these therapists that obviously the guy is always wrong and the woman's always right. I admit I was an a-hole, took advantage of her, and didn't treat her like I should have. It hit me very hard, and I had to take a look of the time off. I had to take some time off work. My mental health took a nosedive. Not long after that, I couldn't afford to keep up with half my therapy and had to stop. Well, please tell me you found a different therapist, for God's sakes. And this whole part about he admitting he was an a-hole her and took advantage of her, well, usually when women cheat on their husbands like this, that's usually because the guy isn't acting like an a-hole, he's acting weak. Usually when the husband is acting like an a-hole or taking advantage of her, she's usually doing everything she can to win his approval. Give him things in the bedroom, that type of thing. So her behavior sounds like this guy was just acting like, prior to her, a simp, a weak bitch, regardless if he was a good guy or not. And therefore she's out cheating with this guy. That's what it sounds like to me. You do enough of these stories, you've been around the block, you learn these things. So she moved out, and with childcare and me not working, I couldn't afford it on my own. She came back wondering why it was her that moved out when she fronted the deposit for the house and paid the majority of the bills. I moved into the spare room. Now we're getting somewhere. She makes more money than him. Guys, I've said countless times, it is always a better situation that the man makes more money. Or if one person has to work, it's the man. Why? Well, in a perfect world, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if the woman makes more money. She loves her guy anyway. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I've seen countless examples of this. Women don't respect the guy as much as they would if their guy made more money than, because they want to see they got a prize that they can brag and show off to their girlfriends and everybody else out there. My man has this degree. My man has this status at his company. My man clearly makes this money, and I know this, and I can therefore have this car, this big house, send my kids to the private school, have membership at the country club, have all these new handbag or purse. You get the point. They want to see the prize. But when she's making more money, I just settled. But you know what? She makes more money. That can make things good for him in the divorce, because she has to pay a big alimony. We agreed to keep it like this for ease, but keep it cordial. And we have been. It sounds crazy, but it's the best we've been together since I can remember. You mean you're at the best you've been since you can remember when she moved out? We're not intimate or anything, but around our son, we keep up the perfect family role play. Until his bedtime, where we go our separate ways, and don't talk until the rest of the morning when he gets up. Oh, so she moved back in, and they're putting up the big show for their kid, but that's it. She had a hard time getting over him, and from what I've seen, is still struggling. She literally quit her job and got another outside the city because of the memories it was giving her. Threw out almost her entire wardrobe because she remembered wearing most of it to see him. Why are you not divorcing her? I know you're doing it because you're worried because she makes more money and you can't afford things, or because you have a kid. She doesn't love you. She cheated on you for 2 years. You don't know if this kid is yours. You don't know if you have an STI. All right? Contact a lawyer, for God's sakes, man. I mean, oh yeah, smack. I should have smacked it like 19 fucking times. You're a little off this morning, guys. Yesterday I came home and she was following a recipe on YouTube and her phone. Our son needed changing in our bedroom, so she quickly ran to go do that, and I noticed all these notifications on her phone. I swiped it down, and one was an email address that she had that I did not know. Instead of opening the app, I quickly went onto her browser and searched this email, and sure enough, it came with the login details of this new account. Aha, secret email address. Therefore, because who do you think she's talking to? Do you really think she's no longer having a relationship with this guy? I counted the characters in the password, and it was the same length of the password she uses for everything. Ah, clever. So I went onto the PC and logged on and found all his emails between the two of them. They had been in contact since pretty much the day she confessed. So she confessed all this, and this guy still stays. That says you can tell that she obviously had this guy's number. And now she's still talking to the guy, and obviously going to make plans to hook up and all that. She's a piece of garbage. Absolutely. But this guy is a pushover. This guy's weak. And, I'm sorry it's happening to him, but I can't let this shit slide. I got to point these things out. And obviously he's staying there for the kid, but why be in this miserable situation? He was the one spearheading the confessing. In the text I gathered, she told him to face to face, but she said it was over text as well, and that she was in love with him, and she was in deep. He told her that she has a family and at least should give it all to make things work at home, to which she replied saying, the thought of me touching her made her feel sick. Ouch. That's a knife through the heart. Okay, it is what it is. Now let's end this miserable marriage. He said he was going to tell his wife and she should tell me as well. She asked about their future together and if there ever was one, and he said if his wife has in her to reconcile, he needs to focus on that, and that's all there was to it. My wife pleaded with him and at least stay friends with, which he agreed to try to do. So this guy made it clear, well, if my wife doesn't go for this, I can't leave my wife. So classic situation. This woman's married to a good guy, a weak guy, and she's cheating on him with another married guy who probably promised her the world, right? But he ain't leaving her. That's what's happening here. It seems it was a bit rocky to begin with, but they seem to be in a good place now, and since he convinced my wife to tell me all emails seem to be very platonic. If anything, my wife is the one who has teetered on the line a few times. I think just testing the water, but it got shot down pretty much instantly. So she's now being rejected by the guy she wants. Hilarious. This seems so stupid to type out and read back, but this has killed me. Father's Day was on Sunday. I had plans with my son and my dad to go out. She organized a gift and a card for my son to me. Had him walk to me holding it and attempt to say Happy Father's Day. She was pretty silent the entire time. Didn't say anything to me, actually. This is a dead marriage, dude. I saw an email about 6:50 a.m. on Sunday. She sent to him saying, Happy Father's Day. Hope you had a great day, and she can't wait to hear what he has got up to. She couldn't say a thing to me, yet first thing she's done when she got up was reaching out to him. Before getting our son ready, she was sending this Happy Father's Day email to him. Reading that hurt so much. I can imagine. Bro, how much suffering do you have to endure before you end it? It made me realize, and again, I know this is stupid just to realize this, but I totally lost her. You think? The problem is, dude, is that, guess what? The woman who you thought she was, who you thought you loved, this is not her. Whether that she disguised all this very well, or this was her all along, but you just refused to see it. I'm willing to bet you she's probably very attractive. Probably he thought he got himself a prize, and, there you go. She's not interested in the slightest to work things out. I knew it was all a show, and after bedtime, we just went our separate ways. But for some reason, I always thought eventually this might work out. Smack! Even if it could work out, if magically she could suddenly feel in love with you again, it doesn't change what she's done for all these years. And you still know if this kid is yours. She'll see how I've changed, and we'll get back together where we should be, but it's not going to. See how you've changed? Look at her. Now, yeah, this guy clearly has work he has to do it himself. But still, I can feel myself slipping back down the hole. I don't see a point in even being here. I can't afford to even chance asking for more time off work. I can't afford therapy. I can't afford to go it alone. I wake up and it feels like I just can't face the day. So many times I've come to the conclusion that driving headfirst into a wall, full speed, is really the best option for me, but then I remember I have a kid. Bro, do not end your life because of her. You can turn things around for yourself. You can divorce her, you can work on yourself and fix all the things that caused her to lose her attraction for you if she ever had it, to make yourself to be out to be the man you could be, but don't end your life over her. And you have a child, if indeed this is your child. The kid reminds me of the shit show every time I look at him. How could she do that to me with my child growing inside of her? She said herself she had the wrong man's baby, and she told him that. Whew. This past year has been so hard for me, and it's just destroyed me. Part of me wants to tell her I know she's still talking to him, but at the same time, what's the point? She's not going to stop. She doesn't want anything to do with me outside the fact that we have a son together. Me telling her I know isn't going to change a thing. Another part of me wants to put myself out there, get back at her, but again, what's the point? I'm not special to look at. She's gorgeous, goes to the gym, in shape, good job. She goes out and gets whoever she wants. Nothing I do is going to hurt her. Well, bro, she's a good-looking woman that, yeah, it's not going to be hard for her to get dudes. But she's also 35, had a kid. So I guarantee she's not nearly as desirable as she was 10 years ago. I'm willing to bet you she married him because he was just the easy guy to marry. Probably she's being pressured by her mom and dad. Her girlfriends are getting married, so she wanted the wedding. Nothing more. I'm really at the bottom of the barrel and don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm better at talking to her or do I just leave her and do what she wants. She's going to do it anyway. She's more than able to afford to go it alone. I don't have the luxury, and I'm terrified I'll be homeless. I'm lucky to have what I have just now, honestly. I need to try and accept the fact that as a couple, we're over, and I'm really struggling to do that. It is scary that someday, when our son is old enough, it'll be just us and I'll be alone. Smack! Are you actually thinking that you're going to stay with her forever, and then the kid will grow up and move out, and you're going to be with her alone? Are you out of your mind? But deep down, I'm just slowly giving up on life. How do I dig myself out of this? Also, many comments mention alimony. I'm in Scotland, so if anyone has good knowledge of how this can work in my favor, please get in touch. My wife makes many more times than what I do, and her affair partner definitely has a lot of money. So that is the end of it. And for you guys that stuck around in this whole pity party here, and yeah, he is whining a lot, but we want to help him. This is what he needs to do. This guy needs to contact a lawyer, ASAP, and find out his options here. Now, I don't know how things are in Scotland, but if it was the USA, probably a lawyer would say, hey, she, regardless if you're in an at-fault state or not, she makes way more money than you. Therefore, she will owe you alimony. Okay? End of freaking story. And then there'll be the joint splitting of assets, amongst many other things. But this guy needs to talk to a lawyer, find out his options, because this is Scotland, fair enough. And I'm willing to bet you he's able to get something because she makes way more money than him, I hope. And I think he needs to have this kid tested, to get a DNA test if that's legal there. You never know. And also check to see if he has an STI or STD. You never know. And then find out his options and then end it with her. And if it means he moves out, moves in with a friend, his father, somebody just short-term while he's getting things together, so be it. And then try to work on himself and take it one day at a time. And this guy obviously has got problems. He's got depression problems, self-worth problems, because nobody with self-worth would have stuck around so long and let her walk all over him. And he's got to really do some digging and work on himself to fix things that would allow him to let some girl like this walk all over him. He's got a lot of issues. He needs my channel. He needs guys like me, a mentor, to help him out. He should join a gym, get some exercise. He says she works out. He should start working out. He says he's nothing to look at. Okay, time to change that. If he's overweight, get a better eating habits, hit the gym, all that. Do something. But wallowing around, being miserable, no woman's going to want you. And you're just going to turn off everybody that comes into your path. But guys, we all have reserves of strength in us we never knew we had. And it's times like this that really show who we are. So this guy can turn things around, but he has to want to. But he has to also accept that she is not who he thought she was. So he doesn't need to mourn the loss of her because that woman never existed. And all the stereotypes are in here, guys. You know, she found out through her messages that he was figuring out that She was giving this guy all sorts of things in the bedroom she never gave to him. Why? Because she had no attraction for this guy. And sadly, a lot of marriages are like this. So life is short, dude. Be the type of man that your son, if this is your kid, can one day look up to. And take it one day at a time and you will move on. But you have to get off your ass and make a change. Nobody's going to come save you. You got to save yourself. And again, talk to a lawyer and find out your options, okay? I'm sure you have some. Life is too short. So that's what I think. Now, a few comments here before I wrap this up. One guy says, you need to divorce. Take whatever evidence you got and send a copy to the affair partner's wife. There you go. How about that? How about also maybe if he can sue the guy for alienation of affection? This is a guy with money. He can maybe get something out of this. The therapist said nothing about her conduct. Maybe you could ask for another joint therapy session where you could voice how you feel about this. No, don't waste your time with therapy. While you're at it, send both families the same packet. Everyone needs to understand you aren't the only villain. How's this guy the villain except him acting weak? She could have left, she could have not gotten pregnant, etc. You need to find a way to move on your own. Work on yourself, make yourself a better person for your child's sake. Amen. Yeah, now whole therapy thing. Do you was anytime anything saying like, hello, she's been cheating on me for 2 years, amongst many other things? Another one. Judge people by their actions. Your wife has repeatedly chosen the affair partner over you. You're clearly the second choice at this point. Second choice? This guy's like the fucking 19th choice. You need to consult an attorney, create an exit strategy, get tested for STI, and get a paternity test for your baby. This all sucks, and I'm sorry this happened to you. And one more. Dude, get back out there. Not to get back at her, but to find someone who loves and respects you enough to not cheat on you. No, he needs to work on himself for a few years before he gets back out there. Because the way he acts and his mindset, he'll just find some other chick. He'll attract some other chick into his life to do the same thing to him. Seriously, that's a bare fucking minimum, and your so-called wife couldn't even do that. I feel like you're going to get glossed over. Another one. Might be considered abuse part, so it sounds like you have some work to do on yourself. But sitting around waiting for this pathetic excuse of woman to love you again is only going to do harm. Find a hobby, read a book, go to the gym. This woman is nothing but an egg donor for your child now. Let her keep pining away for the man who won't leave his wife for her. Let her be miserable wishing for more while you move on. Do not spend any more time in that house than you have to for your kid. I hope things work out for you. Good luck. Yeah, because she's pining over that guy. That guy ain't leaving his wife for her. So I think this guy gathers all his evidence, sends that to the wife of the guy who's cheating on his wife because she deserves to know. See if he can sue this guy for alienation of affection and end this marriage. Move on. This guy deserves something. And then he's got to work on himself. Big time. And not so he doesn't attract someone like this into his life again. Otherwise, down the road it'll happen again. But I'm willing to bet you, if this guy lawyers up and he goes scorched earth, this wife of his suddenly is going to change her tune and be begging him to take her back or something like that. And we shall see in future updates. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.